Hello everyone, my name is Hideous Tuber and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are back with another Legacy Challenge episode. We are currently on episode 4 out of however many we end up doing for the challenge. Today we are pretty much getting back into it from where we left off last week. We are currently in the process of getting ready to go to work, where we will continue working on the cases that we've currently do have on our plate. And then we will be going and doing a whole other bunch of activities, including the Geeks festival that's normally on, that is hosted by, the game Automatically. Then we will be going on a couple of dates, which is always super exciting because, as I said last episode, it is something that I want to start working towards at some point. Because we are now getting close to the point where we are almost max on the aspirations and working towards maxing out our career in the detective field. So with that being said, it's definitely next in our priorities is to get ourselves situated in a relationship, so that way we will be able to get ourselves all sorted for the Legacy Challenge, so that way we can have a long and successful career. And series, of course. But as per always, we always end up, focusing on our aspirations and all that. So with that being said, let's get straight into the episode, where we will be starting off at our job. Alright, we are currently back at work. We are currently at a location because we have issued an API, so that way we can arrest someone to close this case. So we are currently, it looks pretty empty at the moment, but there is currently someone upstairs, which he does match the description given currently to the person that we need to arrest, but we can never really know for sure, even though he's the only one around at the moment. But, so what we're going to do is that we are going to get to know him a bit, see if he matches any of the description almost. And depending on how the conversations go, we can almost guarantee he's going to be the culprit regardless. But, we are going to see what he says and all that before making an official arrest. And then we will arrest him. We'll probably end up arresting him regardless. But, I feel like arresting someone on the spot kind of takes away from everything almost. So we might as well get to know him and then make the arrest, even so that way we can, if we get what we need to, we can arrest him pretty much straight away. If not, we'll arrest him anyway, interview him, and then go from there, which is always super exciting because getting to know certain people, I've noticed that when you're on patrol and all that, I don't think we keep the information with those sims, which it is what it is because we're on the job. But at the end of the day, if we keep them, we keep them. If we don't, we don't, type of thing. Alrighty, we are currently back at the precinct. We ended up arresting him. While we didn't get the information that we did want from him, we ended up arresting him anyway because he did match the description that we did have on file from everything else we've gotten from this case. So we are here currently interrogating him / interviewing him. We'll find out in a bit if he is innocent or guilty. But from what I'm aware of, he should end up being guilty, because unless for some reason there was another dude there that I ended up completely missing. But I do believe he is guilty, so we'll find out in a hot second.
Sibafa on Chibi, Arfanaya.
And obviously from that, it means he is guilty. So we are going to now get a confession out of him, so then we can just wrap up the case and then move on to the next case, which is always so exciting. And obviously now with that, we are now done with the case. But I do believe we are probably really close to the end of the day now. So it is probably just better just do all the little and mundane stuff to get everything sorted and then start a new case on a fresh day. So that's pretty much what we're going to do with the rest of the workday. Alrighty, we are currently at a club meeting with the Good Timers, because we hadn't been to see them in a while, I thought it was a good chance for me to kind of like go see them, talk to them all over again, and then all that. I also did notice that I do believe one of the Sims did pass away in between episodes, which honestly sucks, but that did also open up another couple of spots in the group. So what I did end up doing is adding a couple of different people to the group. I don't know if I did it before this clip was taken or after, but that's what ended up happening. But we ended up, actually I do believe it was after now. But, I did end up adding a couple of new people to the group. But, I honestly like getting to know people and doing all sorts of fun things with this group. While I haven't had much to do with them recently in the last few days in game, I ended up wanting to spend some time with them and, overall being able to play with them and getting to do a whole bunch of things as well. So, which I always find super exciting. So, once we finish up here, we'll find out what we do later. Alrighty, we are now back at work. We have done a whole bunch of work working towards a case, which is we've spent a couple of days doing now. We are now got another API here. This person here represents whom we suspect is going to end up being guilty, but as I said before, we are going to end up interviewing them, kind of seeing if they kind of match the description, like personality wise, but clothing wise and like age and all that, they 100% match the description, and I think he's one of the only people around at the moment. Like, there are people walking around, but he's like one of the only people like on the lot when we load it in, so we feel like he is going to end up being the culprit. So the plan is to like talk to him, interview him and stuff like that, and then make a new arrest if we need to, and then during the interrogation I guess we will inherently find out if he is guilty or not. But I honestly find it really interesting to find out new information about different people and like overall getting to know people and doing all that sort of fun stuff. Because while we ultimately learn a lot of information about some people, we never get the full picture unless we like talk to them and like get to know them, which is really quite interesting. But I feel like, especially with the criminals, we never like keep that information a lot of the time, so it is what it is. But we are now making the arrest, and we are now interrogating them to find out whether they are innocent or guilty. But I always find it fun interrogating them, but I feel like I'm doing the same stuff over and over again. Like, I feel like I want to try and like, for the next interrogation that I do in game, I want to try and like change it up a little bit and see if I can change anything almost. So that's kind of my next plan of action for this. So ultimately we will find out in a moment whether they are innocent or guilty. It also looks like they are guilty, so we will now get a confession out of them, and we will now take them back to the cell and end the case here. Alrighty, we are currently at a restaurant. We decided to get like a little group together so that way we can, hang out with friends and all that. And at the moment, my fun level is really low at the moment. So my ultimate goal with this was to try and get that up a little bit, so that way, we could hang out, get to know people. Like, for me, it was ultimately like making friends and trying to get my fun level up. So, and I realized that when ordering, the food was like free, so I tried to like differentiate what people wanted between like coffee and like drinks and that sort of stuff. So I always found it quite interesting when our food came, that it was really nice. But we got our drinks and we got our main meal. I know when you get like entrees and all that, like this shit takes forever. especially with like getting like multiple courses and all that. Like, so I normally just stick with like getting the main meal and all that, and just, you know, if I really want to make like a full day out of this, you know, I'll go do it. And I also realized that it was night on the town as well, so I think that's a part of the reason why I ended up going and doing it, was to also complete that, because then we can get more points for our aspiration, like little extra like pluses to our sim almost, which I do want to spend. I don't know what on. I was thinking about getting the twins and triplets thing, but I don't know. Like, if I get maybe 2 or 3 kids, if the sim gets married, of course, and has kids, which is the plan in the end. But, you know, I will end up doing that, and then, you know, I will end up going and, like, I'll pick one of the kids to take over, and then I will maybe use Newcrest or something to move a whole heap of Sims from the family tree into that sort of area, so that way we can then like have a little town of our own almost, which will be super exciting. But, you know, having a whole bunch of stuff. Also, our food did end up arriving right as we really needed to go to the bathroom, so we did decide to go to the bathroom. Then, while everyone else kind of finished their food by the time we ended up getting back, you know, it's not that big of a deal. You know, we can come back up and then, you know, like finish our food and do all that sort of stuff before we end up going home. So, you know, either way, we ended up doing really well. But our fun didn't go up in the way I thought it would. You know, in the end of the day, we still ended up having a whole lot of fun with our friends and all that fun stuff. Alrighty, we are now like a day or so ahead. We are currently on a date. We actually got asked out on a date by this lovely gentleman, but I do believe we work with him though. I can't quite remember if he's our sheriff or not, but you know, it is what it is. We'll end up having fun regardless. But our plan is to go on a couple of dates with him and see how it goes. I did end up embarrassing myself a little bit here, but we ended up rebounding a little bit. But, you know, we end up going and doing some stargaze. Well, what is it? Cloud gazing with him, I believe. But either way, it was still a lot of fun. We ended up getting our friendship up quite a bit with the stargazing, so regardless, it was a lot of fun doing that with him. And then we ended up going on a second date with him, which will be the next clip over, which we did end up doing really well. We managed to get our romantic stuff up a lot and all that, and our friendship up quite a bit as well. So, which is something I've been looking forward to, which is getting our relationship and friendship stuff with people a lot higher. So that's kind of where what I want to do is, especially in the next couple of episodes, is get our relationship and friendship up a lot. Which I know I've said a bit over the course of the last couple of episodes, but it's true. I do heavily want to get to the point now where I'm getting our relationships up. And like, especially when we head into adulthood, you know, I want to be able to get my friendship up, my relationships up and all that. And so that's kind of the plan, is that, you know, working on my relationships with people is so important. And like getting to a point where, you know, you're getting married, getting engaged, having kids, so that way by the time we get to an elder, you know, we have our kids like either in their teenage years or even young adult, so that way we are 100% ready and to do the handover to the next generation, which is always so exciting. Okay, we are currently on our second date with this person. As we can see, we've already done quite a bit of the date here, but we ended up getting our relationship stuff a lot further up and pretty much just over halfway, as well as our friendship status halfway as well, which honestly was a lot further than what I was expecting or anticipating for. But obviously over the next week in game, we will end up, you know, getting into the relationship status because like while it's the second day, I didn't want to fully rush into
Pardon,
things with
Grabby?
the sim, so that way
Oh,
we weren't
yes.
like completely and utterly
Oh,
like
George.
rushing like.
Harry.
Because like in reality, I don't want to rush into this sort of stuff because while we can be on a time crunch with these sims, it's also important to realize that you can't rush like friendships and relationships and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for here. Like in the next generations to come, we'll have like a lot more time, so we may get married as a young adult instead of an adult, or we may extend it so they have more time for their careers and aspirations, depending on what they are doing in the current space of time. So I guess we'll find out like going forward, depending on what the sim wants, needs, and all that sort of stuff. But I'm actually having a lot of fun like doing all this stuff with the sim, because it's been a lot of fun, especially like getting to know people, because I feel like I'm doing different stuff to what I'm typically used to. I mean, I know I've like done the collection stuff before and all that, but it's been really interesting just being able to like get to know like different sims and all that. So it's been fun. Alrighty, we are now back at home after those couple of dates. We are currently going around collecting all the collectibles as we do. I feel like this is nothing new at this point. My goal is to pretty much get the My Sims trophies, but I feel like this may take a while because like it's the last stage. I think we've got like 3 or 4 of the trophies still left to collect at this point. So it's like collecting all of them is just gonna take time. So with all of them, I'm just gonna end up skimming through a lot of them, like all the collecting, because like unless we get something interesting, it's just gonna be the same old type of thing. Okay, we are currently in a bit of a different location now. We decided to take an extra day off, so that way we could go on a little vacation to the jungle biome. Because looking at all of the collectibles we still have got to collect, this area provides kind of a few different ones, especially for like the crystals, the fossils, and all that sort of stuff. So the plan was to go excavating a little bit, see what we collect, because I haven't done much with this pack at all. So the plan was to go through here over the next day, collect everything that we can possibly collect, and then go home and go back to the regular schedule. And if we need to go back and collect more from here, it'll be fine. But the plan was to go out and explore this whole area, which I found really quite fun and exciting. But it takes away from what we were doing previously. But this is where we're going to actually wrap up the episode. So I will see everyone for our next episode. So we'll see everyone then. Bye.